We're back with another meal delivery service review, tackling BistroMD this time. And by the end of this video, you'll know what to expect from your weight loss progress and hunger, cravings, and energy levels to be like on BistroMD, and how we would use it if we had to use BistroMD for weight loss success. Hi, Rich and Lucy here, nutritionists at CoachViva.com, the place for analytical thinkers to cut through the noise on where to start and when to level up so they can transform their bodies and live healthy by default. If you too refuse to settle, hide from the facts, or cave to excuses, then subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to be notified every week of new science-backed and practical videos to help you lose fat and gain muscle on your terms. And before we begin, I want to quickly announce that a few spots have opened up for our free one-on-one consults for our Badass Body Boss program. So make sure you stay until the end of this video for the announcement on that. Now let's get started.
BistroMD is a meal delivery service that specializes in both low-calorie and healthy foods so that you can lose weight without being deprived of nutrients. The company employs registered dietitians to curate a menu of healthy, balanced meal options for you based on your body stats, and professional chefs to prepare those meals so that they actually taste good too. You choose a plan based on two dimensions: one, your dietary preferences, and two, your schedule. BistroMD offers 5 dietary preference options. 1. Standard weight loss, i.e. no dietary restrictions. 2. Heart healthy. 3. Gluten-free. 4. Diabetes friendly. And 5. Menopause weight loss. As for scheduling, you can choose from their full plan of 7 days of breakfast, lunch, and dinner plus snacks to their 5-day lunch and dinner only plan, or somewhere in between. Each day generally consists of 3 meals and 2 snacks for women and 3 meals and 3 snacks for men. Depending on what plan you choose, the meals can range anywhere from $98 to $143 per week. After deciding on a plan each week, you'll get to choose from over 150 chef-prepared meals that are frozen and shipped to you, and you can just heat it up and eat in without any preparation. As for how many calories are in your daily meals, it varies based on your body stats, but the website states a range of 1,100 to 1,400 calories per day, with on average 1,200 calories per day for women and 1,400 calories per day for men. The meals also take macros into account and are balanced overwhelmingly in favor of protein, with it making up 40 to 50% of your meals. As bonuses on top of meal delivery, you also get access to registered dietitians for one-on-one support to help you reach your goals, access to the BistroMD and members-only community to get further support and encouragement.
Okay, now let's talk about whether or not it actually works. The truth is, if you're on a calorie deficit of 11% or more, you will lose weight. If you're only eating BistroMD meals alone, then you'll be in a deeper deficit than 11%. At around 1,100 to 1,400 calories a day, it puts most people in at least a 25% calorie deficit. This is a moderate to aggressive, but not impossible calorie deficit, which means 3 things. 1, when you start out, you'll lose weight quicker than normal. This is not just due to the large calorie deficit, but also due to the fact that BistroMD meals are fairly low carb, since our body stores about 3 grams of water for every 1 gram of stored carb. If you suddenly cut a lot of carbs, you'll also lose a lot of water weight at the beginning of weight loss. You may lose more weight than if you were in a more moderate 11% calorie deficit, but you might also find it harder to stick to because you might have more cravings. The general trend of cravings and hunger will be to peak the first week as your body freaks out, followed by a drop as your body decides to lower your metabolism so it can keep up with the lower energy intake, and then gradual increase that you won't notice until it reaches a tipping point where you finally notice how hard you're finding to keep going. How high these peaks and troughs would be and how long they last depends on 1, how strictly you are following the program. For example, only eating the BistroMD meals and not adding extra snacks and additives once in a while. If you are splurging on some days or padding your meals with other foods, then you're not in as deep of a deficit, which makes your body freak out less and thus not bombard you with the peak hunger and cravings. 2nd, how much weight you have left to lose. The more weight you have to lose, the likelier you'll have intense hunger and cravings at the start, but then the final tipping point will take longer to reach because you have enough fat on you to use that for energy instead of food, versus someone who is leaner. They will have a less intense spike the first week, but will reach the tipping point quicker because they don't have as much fat reserves for alternate energy use. And the last thing that the deeper deficit does is have you reach a weight loss plateau quicker. As I mentioned earlier, your body lowers your metabolism to keep up with the low energy intake. The more drastic your deficit, the more drastically it lowers your metabolism, which means the more quickly you get to energy balance, aka your calories in being equal to calories out. I hope this is making sense. If it is, say makes sense in the comments below. So the answer to the question of whether BistroMD works, yes, it does, but with caveats on the hunger, cravings, energy, and the long-term effects I stated just now. That said, because BistroMD meals consist of 40 to 50% protein, many people have found that they could stay satiated even on those less calories. And because their meals consist of whole foods, that means there's a lot of meat. If you're a meat lover, you'll probably find this meal service to fit your bill.
Next, I'll talk about how I would use BistroMD if I was just starting out on my own weight loss journey, so you can figure out how you can maximize your own rewards when using it. First of all, I'm assuming no one's planning to buy BistroMD meals all their life. So assuming you want to get off BistroMD at a certain point, I suggest you get really clear on what's your goal using it. Now, if I were using it just to get to a goal by an event and don't care as much if I regain the lost weight, then BistroMD will be great because it takes the hassle of knowing how to make food choices away from me. Once I hit my goal, I'll just go back to eating the way I used to. But what if I'm using it for the short term in order to build momentum for the long term? Then there are a few things I would need to be mindful about. First, I need to pause and acknowledge that the habits I'll need to learn, like meal planning and changing my relationship with food, still need to happen. BistroMD won't really teach you that unless you're proactive about reaching out to their registered dietitians for questions. The burden to ask questions and learn is on you. To get started with learning, I would use these guidelines in addition to relying on BistroMD. First, since I'll be having 5 to 6 meals a day, including snacks, this is my chance to build a habit around meal timing. When you eat at the same time every day, you teach your body to only expect food at those times. This prevents random hunger and cravings. Second, each BistroMD meal tends to contain moderate to high amounts of sodium, each taking up 20 to 30% of our daily recommended intake. So I'll drink copious amounts of water to keep your sodium to water ratio right. Lastly, the meal sizes are going to be very small compared to what we are served in restaurants. So I'll use this time on BistroMD to make explicit note of serving sizes and portions of food groups like protein versus veggies versus carbs. And finally, what if I want to use BistroMD for long-term success? If so, I know I need to get off BistroMD and learn how to meal plan and change my relationship with food. But I can use my time on BistroMD as training wheels by following the guidelines I mentioned earlier. This will make my transition off it more seamless. One other thing I could do to make this learning even more complete is to actually keep track of my calories, protein, and water intake while on BistroMD. Then do this. 1, for the first 2 weeks, immediately after stopping BistroMD, I'll continue to stay around the calorie and macro ranges from BistroMD. The new learning is how to grocery shop within that range, aka when my meals aren't being delivered. At the end of each week, I'll calculate my fat mass and lean mass using the body fat calculator I've linked in the description below. If I'm losing more fat than lean mass, then I'm doing well. After those 2 weeks, I'll raise my calories by 10%. At the end of 7 days, check my fat and lean mass for progress. I'll keep raising them by 10% every week until I stop seeing progress. When it stops, I'll revert back to the last highest targets I was on, making progress. The reason to reduce your deficit is because for long-term success, you need to reverse the slowdown of your metabolism down and get your hunger, energy, and cravings to feel sustainable. And you reduce your deficit gradually so as to not shock your body into hoarding into extra calories of fat all at once. This is called reverse dieting. Still making sense? Say makes sense in the comments below.
Okay, so what's a summarized list of all the gotchas to think through before signing up? I'd say the main gotchas are that the meals are moderate to high in sodium, so you can also try to compensate the high sodium downside with lots of water intake. The other gotcha is that because the meals try to aim for 40 to 50% protein, most of it will be meat heavy. This is great if you're already a meat lover, but if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you might have a harder time finding options. Also note that in general, a meal delivery service can't really teach you the habits and mindsets you need to sustain your weight loss. Numerous studies have shown that changing your eating habits in one fell swoop doesn't last, and a majority regain everything they've lost. This is why Rich and I gave you guidelines earlier on how to use BistroMD as training wheels. You do need discipline to stick to their serving sizes, especially if you deal with emotional eating or tend to crave specific comfort foods. We have talked to many people who have had a hard time sticking to the serving sizes from meal delivery services and end up eating multiple servings at a time or binge on lots of additional unchecked snacks outside of their meal plan. If your problem is your relationship with food, convenience, and a new nutrition plan aren't going to last. You need a step-by-step plan to figure out how to break out of your psychological traps first. And finally, the cost of the program can be expensive at $98 to $143 per week at the time of this recording. Because BistroMD meals are made using whole food ingredients by professional chefs, you'll understandably need to pay a higher price for better quality food than if you were using other meal delivery services.
If you want a lifelong sustainable approach to weight loss from day one that teaches you everything you need to know to succeed for life, the mindset, nutrition, exercise, recovery, how to transition to maintenance, and believe coaching is important, then I urge you to check out our Badass Body Boss program. The program is built for you if you, 1, value learning in depth the science and psychology behind the entire process, 2, believe that weight loss need not be so complicated, that each method out there works for someone at some stage, and that you just need a clear plan to finding your methods for your stage, and 3, are excited by the idea of working in a collaborative fashion with us to build your customized, sustainable roadmap to lifelong success. If that's you, good news. A few spots have opened up for our free one-to-one consultation call with us. Note, this is not a coaching call, and that booking a call does not guarantee you'll be admitted into our program. So if you're serious, click on the link in the description below to book a one-to-one consult for our Badass Body Boss program. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, be sure to subscribe or follow us on Instagram, and share this video with whoever else you feel could use this information. And be sure to check out these 2 videos to learn more about how to lose fat and gain muscle like a body boss. You can do it.